Lesson number 12 for June 10 to the 16th. The Seal of God and Mark of the Beast, Part 2. Memory text, Revelation 13:10 for Sabbath afternoon, June 10th. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. In the 15th century, the Piedmont valleys, high in the Alps of northern Italy, were home to the Waldenses, a people determined to stay faithful to their understanding of the Bible. As a result of their steadfast loyalty to Christ, they were fiercely persecuted. In A.D. 1488, the Waldenses in the Valley of Lois were brutally murdered by the Roman Church for their faith. Another wave of persecution came in the 17th century, when the Duke of Savoy sent an army of 8,000 into their territory and demanded that the local populace quarter his troops in their homes. They did this as he requested, but this was a strategy to give the soldiers easy access to their victims. Then, on April 24, 1655, at 4 a.m., a signal was given for the massacre to begin. This time, the death toll was more than 4,000. History, unfortunately, is often repeated. The Mark of the Beast prophecy is about the final link in an ungodly chain of religious persecution that goes back through the ages. Like the persecutions of the past, it is designed to force everyone to conform to a certain set of beliefs and an approved system of worship. As always, though, God will have a people who will not capitulate. From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 77, it says, "Whenever, through faith in the Lamb of God, a soul renounces the service of sin, Satan's wrath is kindled. The holy life of Abel testified against Satan's claim that it is impossible for man to keep God's law. When Cain, moved by the spirit of the wicked one, saw that he could not control Abel, he was so enraged that he destroyed his life. And whenever there are any who will stand in vindication of the righteousness of the law of God, the same Spirit will be manifested in them." Brothers and sisters, you see the key issue here is over God's law. We have to determine every day that we will live according to those principles, that we can be victorious, that divine power is available to keep the 10 Commandments as Jesus kept them. Be careful of preachers, theologians, teachers, and people who tell you that you cannot keep the commandments of God. It is true that in our own strength we can't, but with our human effort and direction toward keeping those commandments, as we ask for divine power, then the reality of living those commandments will happen in our lives. And in fact, that will be our last test. Remember, here are they that keep the commandments of God within the context, especially of the enforcement of the mark of the beast and a death decree. You will be an overcomer if you keep the commandments of God, not only now, but during that time. The quotation goes on to say, "It is the Spirit that through all the ages has set up the stake and kindled the burning pile for the disciples of Christ. But the cruelties shaped upon the follower of Jesus are instigated by Satan and his hosts, because they cannot force him to submit to their control. It is the rage of a vanquished foe. Every martyr of Jesus has died a conqueror, says the prophet. They overcame him, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Revelation 12:11 and verse 9. And from the book Maranatha, page 196, it says, among earth's inhabitants, scattered in every land, there are those who have not bowed the knee to Baal. Like the stars of heaven, which appear only at night, these faithful ones will shine forth where darkness covers the earth and gross darkness the people. In the hour of deepest apostasy, when Satan's supreme effort is made to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive under penalty of death the sign of allegiance to a false rest day, Sunday, these faithful ones will shine as lights in the world, as Philippians 2:15 says. The darker the night, the more brilliantly they shine. May God help us to resolve within our minds now that we will be faithful in aligning ourselves with the principles of love contained in the 10 Commandments, so that when the time comes in the very near future to stand for truth, stand for God's foundation of His government, the 10 Commandments, specifically the observance and upholding the 4th commandment, the Sabbath, true day of worship, that we can be faithful regardless of what will happen to us. That victory has to happen today. Have a blessed day.